Hello, my name is Morgan Dito. I'm going to be doing skill number 6 today, which is going to be non-sterile compounding of an ointment. The first thing I'm going to actually do is talk about the patient that I'm going to be doing today, which is Marjorie Davison. Marjorie Davison is going to be getting the 2% nitron and the ointment base that I'm going to be mixing today. I have my container that I'm going to be using. I have my scale that I'm going to be using today. I also have my alcohol wipes, my spatula, my weight boat, and my piece of paper for the 2 ointments. And I also have another piece of parchment paper to mix my ointments on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my calculations before I do anything else, like washing hands and whatnot. So for my 2% nitron, I went ahead and times it by 60 grams, which is going to be 0.12 grams. Then I'm going to take the 0.12 grams divided by the 0.2, which is going to give me 6 grams of nitrogen. So for my mixture, I'm going to need 6 grams of nitrogen. The maximum allowed weight would be 6.6 grams, and the minimum allowed weight for that would be 5.4 grams. So I'm going to need to measure out 6 grams, but my maximum is 6.6 and my minimum is 5.4. So I can't go under that or over that. Well, over 6.6 and under 5.4. So for my base ointment, I am going to be doing 0.2 minus 54 grams because my base ointment is going to be 54 grams. 0.2 times 54 is going to be 10.8, which 10.8.5 is going to be 54 grams for my base ointment, for my amount of base ointment. My maximum amount for base ointment would be 59.4. My minimum is going to be 48.6. So I can't go over 59.4 and I can't go under 48.6. So what I'm going to do now is make sure I have all my materials. So I have my container, I have my scale, I have my piece of paper, I have my gloves, my spatula, my ointment base, my nitro, my boat and my piece of paper, and my alcohol wipes. And I also have my patient, of course, which is Marjorie Davison. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to go ahead and start my hand washing and remove all jewelry so I can go ahead and begin to wash my hands. So I'm going to take a paper towel to go ahead and turn on the water. We want it about lukewarm. Alright. Now that I have my paper towel, I am then going to go ahead and wet my hands. Wet my hands. Get some soap. And we're going to be washing our hands in circular motion. Doing in between our fingers. Then we're going to take our nail brush and we're going to go ahead and clean our nails. And we're going to go ahead and rinse our hands. Then we're going to get a paper towel to go ahead and turn off the water. Now that our water is off, we're going to go ahead and grab another paper towel to blot our hands dry. Now that our hands are all clean, we are then going to begin measuring. So what we're going to do first is put on our sterile pair of gloves. All right, now that our gloves are on, we are then going to go ahead and clean our materials. So the first step that I'm actually going to do is I am going to go ahead and clean my appliances that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and clean my scale, my piece of paper, my bowl, and my spatula. So let me get my scale out. Now I have my alcohol. So I have my alcohol wipe. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down my scale. Make sure that's clean and let that air dry. Then I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down my scale boat. Make sure that's clean and let that air dry. Wipe down my piece of paper. Make sure that's air dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down my spatula as well. Alright, and then we're gonna wipe down our piece of paper just to make sure it's all sterile. Okay, so Marjorie Davis is going to need 6 grams of nitro, 2%. So we need to measure out 6 grams of that. And she's going to need 24 grams of base ointment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the base ointment since it's the most, and we're gonna take our weight boat. We actually are gonna turn on, we're actually gonna turn on our scale. And I'm gonna show you that my scale is at 0. Okay, now that I got my scale at 0, I'm gonna then go ahead and put on my weight boat. So see, my weight boat has a little bit of weight to it, so we're going to press tare. And now it's at 0. And we are going to do 54 grams in our scale. So we're gonna take our ointment base and measure out 54 grams. So that's 20. That's 27. 40. And we need 54. 49. 52. 53. So our maximum would be 59.4 and our minimum is going to be 48.6 grams. And right now I have 54.4 grams, so I'm going to be good with that. I'm going to go ahead and show you that I have 54 grams. 0.4. I could actually take a little bit out to get rid of that 4 grams. Yay, I did it! Okay, awesome. Now I'm at 54 grams. Sweet. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and move that. Then I'm gonna take my little piece of paper. A little bit bent. There we go. Okay. All right, and we are back at 0. Now we're going to be cleaning off our spatula, and then we're gonna go ahead and weigh out the nitro. So I'm gonna close my container like this. I'm gonna move this aside. Then I'm going to take my alcohol wipe. That way we're not, well, I really don't need this, do I? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean it because it's gonna bother me if not. Alright, and then I'm going to wipe down my scale one last time so that way we can go ahead and weigh our other ointment, which is our 2% nitro, and we need 6 grams of that. The maximum for the 6 grams is going to be 6.6, and the minimum is going to be 5.4. And then we're going to wipe down our piece of paper as well and let that air dry one last time. All right. Okay, so when we put our piece of paper down, it is at 0. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that it's at 0. We're going to let that air dry. All right, and now my scale is at 0. Then we're going to take our air-dried piece of paper, put it down. We're going to press tare, and we want to do 6 grams of hydrogen 2%, hydrogen ointment 2%. So Alright, now I have 6.2. The maximum is 6.6, so 6.2 is right under it, so that's fine. Alright, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and move that to the side. And I'm going to re-alcohol everything down just to make sure it's clean. So my scale is all wiped down. Let that air dry. My spatula, make sure all that is off completely. All clean. And then we're gonna wipe down our paper because we got a little bit of ointment on it just to make sure it's completely clean before we begin mixing. Alright, so I have my 54 grams and I have my 6.2 grams of hydrogen, 2% hydrogen. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mixing them. So I'm going to take my ointment base, put it down on my piece of paper. Alright, it's completely empty. And then we're going to take our hydrogen 2% and put that on our piece of paper as well. And put those to the side. And then we're going to begin to mix. Alright, now that my ointment is all mixed and it is all one color, I'm going to then show you that it's all mixed up. And we are going to start putting it into our container. All mixed up. And then I have my 2-ounce container that I'm going to be using. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put the ointment inside the container on the very bottom and make sure it's like side to side. We don't want any air bubbles. now that it is side to side, we are going to then go ahead and put the rest of our ointment into our container. And we want to make sure there's no air bubbles. And last little bit. Make sure we got all of it. Okay, now that it is completely full of the ointment and there's no air pockets, let's make sure, for sure there are no air pockets. Okay, perfect. No air pockets. Our container is all full with our ointment. All right, now that our ointment is all in our container and there is no air pockets, we are then going to talk about the BUD. So I have the label right here for Margaret Davidson. The BUD is going to be, today's date is 2/25/2020. The BUD is going to be 30 days from now. So it's going to be 3/26/2020. That's the expiration date for that. So we have that all labeled. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our alcohol wipes and wipe down all of our appliances that we used. So we have our spatula we're gonna go ahead and clean. So spatula is clean, a piece of paper, is clean, our weight boat is clean, and our scale is clean. And our piece of paper. All right, now now that this is all clean, I'm gonna go ahead and move all the clean stuff over out of the way. And then we are gonna go ahead and start filling out our CR form. So the drug number, and then the date is 2. Expiration date would be 3/26/20. Alright, and that is all taken care of. And we're gonna make sure everything is all wiped down again. And that her prescription is all set. So everything is clean. Just re-wipe it real fast, let it air dry. And our piece of paper. Okay, and I think I'm finished. Have a good day.